Hello to all of my GEMS family. How are you doing? This is Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger. And I came back on because I did a live earlier. And when I ended it, it was like 15 seconds. I don't know what happened. And I was talking and talking for a full 30 minutes. So I decided to come back and try it again, and we're going to do a Think About It Thursday topic. I hope all of you gems are doing absolutely amazing. Hope you're in a positive space today, mentally, emotionally, physically. And if you're not, maybe something I say in this live stream or what somebody says in the chat will be encouraging to you. On today's Think About It Thursday, I want to talk about how we can treat ourselves better, you know, treating ourselves better, how we can encourage ourselves more than we're already doing. And it's a process from day to day. Some days you're just going to be in a good space, and sometimes you won't. But you really have to think about it, think about yourself, what you want, what are your goals and your objectives, because it's going to change from one day to the next. Some days my goals is just to make it through the day because maybe a physical pain, or other days the goal may be just to how I'm going to pay this bill, how am I going to get some food, how am I going to, deal with a person who is very taxing on your mind. So every day is going to be different. And I just want us to think about it, because we're not just grown, we're mature. And with maturity should come wisdom. I know it doesn't happen for everybody like that, but with time should come wisdom, where we learn things about ourselves, we learn things about others, and also we learn how to show up for ourselves. And that's something that I want for us to think about, Gems family. Think about yourself and how you treat yourself. And I hope that we can start to learn. Hi, Prior. I hope we can start to learn to treat ourselves better, show up for ourselves better, you know, treat ourselves better in a mental, an emotional, and physically in a better way, maybe that you did before. I most definitely had to learn how to treat myself. That wasn't normal for me. Um, I didn't actually know how to show up for myself, for real. I only knew how to show up for other people. And that's not a good thing. It's not the nicest, it's not the most positive, but it is real. So I wanted to say that to all of my GEMS family. You have to think about yourself. You have to think about you, what you want, what you're trying to achieve, and then move from there. Hey, PMC, how are you doing? Welcome. I was just over here talking about Think About It Thursday, and really to think how we treat ourselves. When I was younger, I used to think I was invincible. Nothing could touch me. I could do anything that I want. And yeah, when you're younger, you can make different moves because, let's be honest, you're living with your parents. You don't have the responsibilities that you have when it all comes on to you. So with that age and responsibilities, you got to learn how to, yes, handle your business, work, and all of that stuff. But also, you got to understand that you can't let people stress you out too much. And if people are stressing you out, then you have to give yourself the permission to get rid of them, eliminate people. And if you feel like um, a person is really getting on your nerves and all of those things, then leave them alone. Leave people alone, get rid of them, and all of those things. Yes. So that's a real thing. Hey, Valerie, how are you doing? Welcome in. I really appreciate you being here. Um, PMC says we definitely are flawed, not flawless. Definitely. It's one of those things in life that, you really have to show respect to yourself. If you don't respect yourself, there's absolutely nobody that's going to respect you. Yeah. And we're flawed, not flawless. And it's just the reminders that we all need. We all need reminders, ladies and gentlemen, to think about ourselves, to give ourselves the permission to do things for ourselves. Like, I have to give myself the permission that it's okay, Marlene. I tell myself, Marlene, it's okay to sit down. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay if you want to cry. It's okay if you want to scream. You don't have to be perfect, because it's not about striving for perfection. It's about it's just about you doing your best, because that's the thing that counts. That's the thing that counts, and that's the thing that matters. If we're going to be 100% honest, we can't let people get to us and really get on our nerves. You got to take some time out for yourself. So, hey, Mama Global, how are you doing? Welcome. I really appreciate you being here. And mods, if you see somebody leave a crazy comment, you can just hide them. You don't have to time them out. Just hide them. So that's one of the things about life, is that we have to learn how to give ourselves the permission to take breaks and do all the things that we need to do, and not keep letting people run over you and use you and abuse you and disrespect you. I do believe in forgiveness. I think it's important to forgive people at the point of people being respectful, at the point of respecting other people, respecting that people do have a life and people can have their own opinions. But when it comes to a person who is disrespectful and doesn't show up for you, mm-mm, you don't have to keep those people around in your life. Yes, thank you so much, Mama Global. Yes, smash the like, subscribe. Yes, vulnerability can only be completely shattered if it's allowed, right? And you have to be very careful about who you're vulnerable with, because some people um, will take your kindness for weakness. People will use you and abuse you and disrespect you. And that's the part of being a mature woman or a mature man, is knowing who's worth your time, energy, and efforts, and who isn't. And when it's finally revealed that people are weird or twisted, wicked, then you know what to do. And don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Hey, Leonica, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I hope you all are having a wonderful Thursday. Oh, that's cool. Um, Mama Global. Yeah, absolutely. And the older that I'm getting, is the more that I am learning to There's some things that you don't even answer. It's just not worth your peace of mind. Hey, Miss Aretha, how are you doing? Happy Thursday. Finally taking me first now, when needed. Givers need to learn. Yeah, they need to learn that. Everybody needs to learn. And, honestly, we are the ones that have to show people how we want to be treated. I had somebody one time that told me that, oh, I know you would have said yes anyways. And it made me like step back and go, wait a minute. So you have to evaluate from time to time. Are you a yes man or are you a yes woman? Do you allow people to keep disrespecting you? Do you advocate for yourself? Do you give yourself the permission to take a break and not feel guilty? That's something that we each have to think about, those things, right? Hey, Delvin, how are you doing? Welcome. Yes, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Yes, blessings to the chat. So much more peace of mind now and more fulfilled, also sharing the load more with your hobby. Okay. Being, but okay, before you used to do it all, and it is exhausting. And I had to start opening up my mouth and doing things. And I think that's too a part of not being controlling. I think sometimes as women and as men, we want things a certain way, and then we do things and say, oh, you're not doing it right. I had to learn to take my hands off of the wheel and allow people to help me instead of trying to do it all. Things don't have to be perfect. Support is support, help is help, and it doesn't always have to be the way we want it to be. So, it's a learning experience, it's a maturing experience. Oh, I'm glad you're well. I'm doing okay today. Thanks so much. Um, that's something that's very important. You have to keep your word to yourself. You got to show up for you and do all of those things, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yes, you got to let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. hmm and that's something that I'm still working on that. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect person, but at the end of the day, if you don't speak up and advocate for yourself, I'm telling you, it's very few people in this life that care about you and love you that much to say you need to take a rest, a vacation, or will do something for you without you asking them to do it. Yeah, closed mouths don't get helped. Thank you so much, PMC. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. So, that's the one of the things about life is, it's a learning experience, it's a growing experience, and you got to know when it's time to let things go. You got to know when it's time for you to do all of the things that you need to do for you. So, so that you can be okay. And that is honestly, I feel like that's the best part of being a mature person. I'm not talking about being grown. Anybody can be 18 to 21, but being mature enough to know, okay, I need a break. I need to get some rest, or I haven't been feeling good for a while, and doing some of those uncomfortable things. Like, I'm not going to cap with you guys. I hate going to doctors, but that in going to a doctor, I'm going to be able to get knowledge of what's really going on with me. And just because we don't like things, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, because it's a lot of things in life that we do and we don't want to do. You may not want to go to work, but you're going to go to work because you got bills to pay, you have responsibilities. So, you have to start thinking about it in those terms. And also, I feel the same, the way that you eat, the type of diet that you follow, and also what you take into your mind, because it's a lot of things that really people will bring you a whole lot of stress in your life, a whole lot. And I had to learn to not let other people stress me out, but I had to find a way to do some things, put some things in place so that I can take my stress down. We each have to advocate for yourself. Mama Global is saying, hubby is sending me on a solo cruise, a gift for all the illnesses I've endured this year. That's a wonderful thing, and I hope you have the best time ever. Yeah, you got to stay on top of your medical appointments. That's one of the things that I was raised that way, like, going to the doctor, like, oh, don't go to the doctor, and all kinds of things. And even some things in my head, like, I know I should have gone to the doctor, know I should have got checkups and find out things, and then you make it the excuse. So today on this Thursday, we're going to talk about those things that doing those uncomfortable things, the things that we don't really like, but at the end of the day, remember, it's our lives. It is your life. You got to think about what you actually need to do. It's not always what we want to do, but what we need to do is take care of ourselves. What we need to do is take breaks. We need to ask for help. We need to delegate responsibilities, especially to those who are parents, those who have responsibilities. You got a business going on. Don't try to go on your own. Ladies and gentlemen, don't try to do it all on your own. And I'm saying that as somebody who has tried to do it on their own. You know, I have tried. I have tried and tried to do it on my own because of thinking that and your way is the best way. But there are many things that we need to do on our own. But when the load is too heavy, you have to make people do things for themselves. Kids, maybe it's your husband, could be your wife, it could be other people. I had to learn to stop doing everything for everybody and then complaining about it later, how stressed out I was. If you can do something, it's cool, but not if it's going to cost you your mental health, not if it's going to cost you your health, your spiritual health. You have to think about all of those things before. Yes. Oh, you're hearing static? Let me check something. I hope that's better. It may have been my air conditioner. But that's one of the things that I wanted to tap in and talk about today, to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and think about it before you make decisions. Think about you and also think about who you affect by your decisions. Because sometimes we'll just act and do things, but you really don't think about the consequences. Like, is this going to affect my children or spouse or siblings, friends, loved ones? I know I have been in that space before of really selfish and only thinking about what I wanted. And I think things are within the limits. You do have to care about yourself, care about your personal care and do all those things that you need to do so that you look like a good representation of someone who knows their personal worth. But at the same time, you can't make it be all about you. That balance is necessary. We have to think about how our decisions, our lifestyle, our everything affects other people that care about us. So we can't just say, forget everybody else and it's all about me. But at the same time, you can't only think about other people. That's why that balance is necessary. So, what do you mean, Tyler? You was by yourself. So, and that's one of the things that I just wanted to come on and tap into the gems and talk about this for a little bit. That you do have to think about the decisions that you make every day and make wise decisions, positive decisions. Um, Meditate before you make a decision, because the older that I'm getting, I know that was something for me. I would just say, I want to do it, and then you jump into it, but you didn't think about it. You didn't pay attention to the energy. You didn't pay attention to people's actions. If it was a good decision for you to make. So I just wanted to say that to really think before you act, before you react. Because as a person who was a former hothead who had a lot of anger issues, I can tell you that you can put yourself into some really bad situations all because of anger. So I understand that people are irritating and there's a lot of stress and all of those things. Just may not agree with what somebody says or does or whatever. But you got to learn to keep calm and not just snap off, because not everything that we think is what it is. Sometimes you'll jump to a conclusion and then you can't take it back. Right? So think before you speak, think before you act. Make sure it's a good decision for you and that you've done your research. Um, you've thought things from the beginning to the end. That's something that my father used to say when I was a little girl, and I really never used to get it. Like, what does that even mean? Think about getting to the end. But if you think about it, if I do this, how is this going to impact me emotionally? How will this impact me in the future? How will this affect me financially? Mm-hmm. Maybe you may just think, oh, I'm just going to do it because I will, and I can do whatever I want to. Sure, of course, we can always do anything that we want to do, but with every action comes a reaction, right? Yeah, that's something that I want for us to not just make decisions, but to make wise decisions, mature decisions, healthy decisions, healing decisions. So about it, think about how you treat other people and ask yourself, would I want to be treated this way? And maybe in the moment you may not understand. Maybe you just feel you know all the facts. Sometimes we don't always know all the facts, comprehend the situation, the dynamic, everything that's going on. Also on social media, uh, you can't just jump to a conclusion and think because maybe you support somebody's channel. There could be some beef. There could be you know, that the person that you support could have been in the wrong. So don't be hasty and think that you know all the facts about everything. You know, that's part of maturity. And I want this channel to be that space to have those conversations, to not just think that we know, even though you may be around somebody, maybe they have a reputation of doing things, but if you didn't see with your own eyes, if you weren't there, I don't mean hearsay, somebody told you what it was. I mean, if you weren't there, if you didn't hear it from that person, then you just don't know. So, just something for us to think about on this Thursday, because I want for us to make better decisions, wiser decisions, because this channel is about living life to your best ability with your gifts, with your talents, for what is meant to be for you, making good, wise, and healthy decisions. Because recently I have been on that mode of thinking, you know what? I have not been eating properly. I have not been taking care of myself and my health the way that I should. Just going and doing and just picking up anything and just, not treating myself according to what I deserve. And the only person that can change that is us. So with what it said, with knowledge comes responsibilities. We can't do anything about what other people do, but we can always do something about what we do for ourselves. You may have to speak up for yourself. You may have to cut things or people off. You may have to change your attitude, your behaviors. And that's something that we don't always want to hear. We don't always want to hear that I got a bad attitude, or I'm angry, or you know, I think I know, or I could be controlling. Are you a jealous person? It's all of those things that is a part of being a mature adult. When you're immature, you feel like it's nothing wrong with me and I can say and do whatever I want to. But as we grow up, you got to slow down. You got to think before you speak, because we all want to be treated in a kind way, in a nice way, in a respectful way. But do you give that same energy to other people? Are you known to be kind, or are you known to be rude and just say, "Oh, I don't sugarcoat things"? No, that's not the best way to be. Yeah, we have to heal. And I know that many of us, we have more healing to do than others. Some people have really been through some tough situations, and you know, part of the healing process is not just like removing it like it never happened, but it's healing it to the point where you don't let the pain control you. You don't let the drama, the nativity control you. That you have things that you lean on. You can lean on your faith. You can lean on self love and self respect. You can lean on good friends and great advice, and people who support you and are loyal to you, and they only want the best for you. So that really is what I tapped on to say on this Think About It Thursday. Think about something that you want to shift in your life. You want to make it better. Could it be your health, taking better care of your health? Could it be your finances? Maybe making a better budget, being more on track, not just feeling that you need to get everything, the latest and the greatest. You got to think about things, and each woman or man has to know what they want to do. Make good decisions, make wise decisions, and have peace within. Whatever it is that you need to do today to be a better, improved version of yourself, because tomorrow is not promised. You want that, if today is your last day, how did I live today? Was I kind to myself? Was I kind to others? Did I help when I could? Did I support when I could? Did I do all the things that I'm supposed to do? Or was I mean, nasty? Were you a jerk, a manipulator? We all have some growing to do. I missed that. Okay. Hi, pretty heart conqueror. How are you? Welcome. I'm just about to tap out, but I most definitely wanted to say hi to all of the gems and to say to every single one of you to make sure that you are thinking about what you're doing, and that not everybody that we care about, that we support, actually supports us back. Make sure you're not wasting your time, um, not letting people use you. We don't want to be gullible. We don't want to be stupid. We want to use our brains. You know, I know that common sense is not common, but we can always improve and do better. I want you guys to all improve and be the best version of yourself. Be as positive as you can, be as knowledgeable as you can, and also to use discernment and to know that not everything that, what is it, that glitters is gold. There's a lot of deception, there's a lot of crafty acts, there's wickedness, wicked people, manipulative and dark people. So don't fall for the okey doke. Keep your eyes open. Don't walk around with rose colored glasses and think that everything that appears to be good or working is good for you. It's like what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander. What works for one person may not work for you. And I had to learn that. It was something for me to think about and meditate. Not the way that everybody dresses or talks, or things that people do or things that people eat will work for you. You have to pay attention to how your body reacts, how your spirit reacts. Not everybody's personality is going to agree with yours, and that's cool and everything. You don't have to be like, I hate people, I hate you, but if you don't get along with somebody, just make go about your way. Everybody doesn't have to get along. We should get along because we're mature adults. I believe that there's something good in every single person. If you would have enough openness to be able to learn what you can from somebody and discard the rest. I think every single person has some bad in them. Everybody does. But at the same time, you have to be careful of who you associate with. You have to be careful about who you trust and all of those things. But, we'll tap into some of those things on tomorrow. I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for your support, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And I hope something that I said in this live will give you something to think about and contemplate. I hope you will have peace today, and you'll be taking care of yourself, and you'll really think before you speak, think before you act or react, because we don't want to be, what did they say, that there's no fool like an old fool. When you're young, you do things because you just lack knowledge and experience. But as we get older, when we know better, we need to be acting better, not just doing whatever we want and don't think about the consequences. Yep, that's some real talk for today. Okay, guys, I will tap in on tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to the channel members. Shout out to the old and new subscribers. I think I am like 5 subscribers away from 2K. It's very exciting. And I want to say thank you to everybody who supports me on this channel. And you guys go and check out some of the people. If you see people in the chat, they have a channel, and check them out. See their content. See if it's your vibe, and you already know if it's your vibe. Then subscribe. We'll tap back in on tomorrow. Bye, guys.